Okay, as he mentioned, we are covering infinite connections, all of the different options you have for integrating Element451 with all of the different systems you have on campus. I am Kelly, Vice President of Solution Engineering and Integration. We have Jacob.
I'm Jacob Patton. I'm the Director of Data Integrations.
Woo! So today we're going to cover where to start, finding your integration road, integration options, how to pick your road, the brand new integration log that was just announced, and then covering testing your integration and an integration review. So first, where to start? So when Jacob and I were talking about integrations with Element451, we realized that there's just too many options. So we saw it like a bunch of different roads, a bunch of different options to take. And so, of course, we thought of this poem, "Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and be one traveler, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could." So to start down your road, the very first step is making a plan, understanding what you want to integrate. Is it data? Is it documents, applications, phone calls, activities, events? All with the understanding that we know you have limited people, limited budget, and limited time. Because who in the room has more than enough time and more than enough budget? No, nobody. Okay. And then it's important to pick your road. So first, we have SFTP, which is the road that we find most of our clients travel. It uses our very robust import and export module. Our formulas that are embedded within that module provide a lot of flexibility, so whatever you're trying to integrate. We provide the ability to do data transformations. We can also pull from that information or drop that information on Dropbox and Google Drive. We can integrate with data or with documents, all sorts of different varieties, and we can schedule it to fit your needs. So if you've been on a call with me, you know that I describe this as the unsexy way of integrating, but it works. And the important part is you can schedule it. So if you want to run it once a day, 4 times a day, 8 times a day, you have those options. For any of our partners in the room, if you're working for an outside organization, get a hold of customer success to get a new SFTP username and password if you want it limited to a specific folder. Then we also have a variety of third-party platforms available because there's an app for that. So as you heard Petter talk about this morning, we have native integration with Zapier, and that is growing by the day. All of our workflow actions and triggers have been embedded into Zapier. So now if you have Eventbrite, for example, that you want to trigger something in Element through a workflow, we have that capability. We also have native integrations with Make.com. So they integrate with 2,000 apps, where Zapier integrates with over 6,000 apps. 2,000 is still pretty good, though, so they're a great partner to work with as well. And then we also work with other third-party platforms, other iPaaS solutions like Boomi. They can also be used in a low-code environment, so we aren't talking about taking months and months and months for development of an API. You can use these third-party systems to integrate a little bit easier. And I'm going to turn it over to Jacob.
All right, I get the fun of talking about API integrations, or lots and lots of code, which is what I enjoy. I enjoy working with clients. I enjoy working with the engineers to make these integrations happen. So here our roads diverge again. We have managed integrations, and then we have self-integrations. So managed integrations, we take on the load of maintaining the code. It uses our infrastructure. And the client is the one who says, here's what I need to move, here's my API key, here's where you send the data. And then we make it all happen. I've got Milos here, actually. He's one of our data engineers who writes a lot of the code. I couldn't do it without him. And then there is self-integration. So these are the clients who have the IT teams, who have the resources to say, you know what, we think we can make it work on our own. So they maintain the integration, they maintain both systems, and then we say, okay, we're an open API, here's our API documentation. So managed integrations allows you to focus on what you need to do, and we take care of it. We have a Common App integration where you set up the file coming out of Common App. We take care of importing it into the system and the daily process that comes with that. For the schools in North Carolina, we have a CFNC integration. So we'll pull files down once an hour, we'll pull transcripts in, and then from Element, you can do what you need to get them over to your SIS. You can review those files before you send them. Kind of allows you to filter them out. We have 19 active Ethos integrations, so that's colleague, banner. Over the last 6 months, year, we've added new features. So we've added emergency contacts, we've added personal pronouns, we've added, I'm forgetting something.
Default institutions.
Oh, right, default institutions, thank you. So we've continued to expand what we can do within Ethos, and as courses come online, our goal is to have that built into Ethos as well. Oh, yes. We also have the community on, not Circle, but the Element451 community. There is an Ethos group. Join that for those of you who are on the Ethos integrations. For those of you who are on Populi, Workday Anthology, those integrations are active and expanding. And at some point, once we have a few more clients, we'll build those communities in as well. Under self-integrations, these are the ones you know the best. You know your systems, you know your data, and we're just kind of here to give you the information that you need. As an open API, we have a couple different resources for you. We have our API documentation, so you can come in here and this will tell you how to send data, where to send it, how to authenticate. But we find that not all the clients need this detailed information because they're not necessarily creating tasks through the API. If you just want to move data, we also have our integration guide. This is a place that you can go over to the API documentation, and it'll walk you through exporting data, importing data, exporting documents, the API key. It has all this detailed instructions on how to get the information out of the system. So you can write your own code, and you can start moving your own data. For those of you who aren't interested in the API integrations, the integration guide is also a place where you can look at calculated fields. How do my formulas can be set up? How do I look at how to set up a flat file? How do I look at make and Zapier? So we've got some other detailed information. This is a really good resource. If you're interested in Snowflake, we have all of our Snowflake documentation out here as well. So it's just a good resource to have bookmarked. And this is the part that I'm excited about, is the integration log viewer. We as the integration team have been working on this for several months now. We created the back end, waited for engineering to make the front end. But this is for those of you who have managed integrations. This allows you to see what your data is doing. So before it was kind of a black box of, okay, the Element451 team says data's going, I gotta trust them, things mostly match up. But we said clients need clarity. Clients need to be able to see what is happening. So now under your settings here and under integrations, there's an integration log. You can come in and you can see, okay, this one here, Jane Jenkins from Element451 to Ethos, we had an error. You can look and see it was a person match error, and you can see exactly what Ethos gave us back. So, okay, the social security number is already used, I can go fix that, and then you can sync it. For those that were Element451 to whatever system, you can click on it and it'll bring up their profile. So if there was a piece of data that was wrong, you could quickly change it before syncing it again. For those that are coming into Element451, so Kelly and myself here, you can see that it was successful. So this is just a way for you guys to be able to troubleshoot your own integrations as a first step. You can still come to us and say, hey, I got this weird message, I don't know what it means. We're glad to help you. We want your data to be correct, we want it to be accurate, and we want you to have clarity on what is happening. So testing your integrations. It's great that we have an integration, we got data flowing, but you gotta test it. Because we find if you don't test it, you get yourself in trouble, and that's not fun. So when you're testing, check every data point. Just don't assume it's on the list, it comes over. Send a variety of data. If everybody has the same term and the same major, it might not work for a different term or major. Something might be different. Start small and then expand. So set up 5 fields, send those 5 fields. Okay, now I've got 10 fields coming over. You can build on it so that way you know it continues to work rather than just say, hey, here's 100 fields, I think it's working. Read the documentation. We've put a lot of time into creating the 2 resources we've shown here. There's also our help articles that we have online. Read the documentation, and then if you still have questions, please come find us. We're more than willing to answer them. And then utilize the Element451 community to follow best practices. You guys have done a lot of neat things with our tools, and so you can go out there and say, I need this, I need to figure out how to do this, and there's going to be somebody that can say, here's how we did it, here's how we solved it. So, looking back on our road, we have flat file integrations, CSVs, pipe delimited, easy way to get data out and in to assist. For inquiries, anybody can set that up. We have document integrations. This will allow you to import PDFs, JPEGs, whatever you need to be in your system so that you can look at the documents while you're reviewing, while you're checking that record, and then you can export them to your campus management system for documents. We have third-party platforms. Allows for easy integration. You don't have to know a lot of code. Some of them you can start putting if statements in, and you can do a whole lot with that. And finally, we have API integrations. This is what I enjoy. It allows us to make sure your data is flowing. It's powered by the Element451 team. We've got 2 or 3 engineers working on it. And then we also work with the actual engineering team to make sure data flows well. And this is where our journey ends. And now from here, you can go out and you can pick your own road to say, this is where I want my data to go. And you know what? If you get to the end of the road and you say, you know what, this isn't working well, I need to go down a different road, that's okay. We have resources, and we can make sure your data is what it needs to be. And that QR code will take you to our integration guide, so you can read through that and figure out what road you need to go on. Do we have any questions? It's hard to see hand raises when the light's in your face. It's like, eh.
Check 1, 2, there we go. So, Little Birdie told me a while ago that there was an integration coming for Parchment for the possibility to take transcripts and convert it to data. What's the status on that? What is that going to look like?
Yeah. So we have a document integration. It's something we're going to work on in the fall. Part of it was we were working on the scheduling of importing documents. So rather than just, you'd have to manually say import this and every day, we can set it up so that you can click run one time and then it'll import it every time.
Hey, are you guys currently working through connecting to LMSs?
I'll let you answer that one.
Oh, thanks. So as we heard earlier today in Ty's presentation, we heard from artists and from Petter, we have more pieces for courses coming. So that means that we're working on integrations. So we will have managed integrations for LMSs available. I also say there was great partners on the partner slide that artists shared this morning as well, and we are working very closely with our partners for them to be able to provide integrations as well.
Hi, Kelly. Quick question. The new integration log viewer, is that specific to API integrations, or is there enhanced log viewing for other types of integrations as well, like flat files?
So right now, that's just for managed integrations. Due to how we save the data currently, long term, it'd be great if we could open it up to other people to say, you know, you've got your own integration, you can write your own log information. But because of how we save the information for now, it's just for managed integrations.
That's our first step.
It's our first step. You know, we've got longer plans.
We have roads too.
Yeah.
Hi, is there a listing anywhere of what element fields map via the Ethos API to which banner fields or colleague fields?
So within the integration log today, there is a mapping of element slugs to specific colleague fields. The banner field document is currently in development. That's on my plate, so I'm wrapping that one up soon. I knew that would make you happy.